Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told I had a voice radio, so today I am bringing you word of a really quite spectacularly awesome new Rayquaza card. Everybody likes Rayquaza, and the new card has pretty spectacular art. Now, it's actually being released in Japan in a magazine Koro, and what they're doing is they're actually giving away an entire Lycanroc deck. I've done a Lycanroc video, link in the description, with their January magazine. And one of the cards in that deck is going to be this new Rayquaza. So this might be in our Sun and Moon set, but it's more likely to be a promo card somewhere down the line. However this card is released, it's looking pretty gosh darned good. I'm going to be honest about this. This card is good. Sometimes, like the Arcanine card I showed you yesterday, I say, hey, under these circumstances, it could be useful in these ways. No. This Rayquaza, good. Now, free energy, 80 damage, fairly garbage. Let's just move past that, get on with our lives. But the first attack, double colourless energy, 30 damage, attach 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely, utterly spectacular as an attack. Now, the closest we've got to this at the moment is Volcanion. Now, Volcanion is very good. He is the setup Pokemon in the Volcanion deck, and the good attack for him is Power Heater. He does 20 damage for 1 fire, and you get to attach 1 basic fire energy from your discard to each of 2 benched Pokemon. 2 benched Pokemon each get 1 fire. Rayquaza does 30 damage, that's an extra 10 damage. It's any energy, not just fire, so you can use this in any deck whatsoever. And it's 2 to 1 Pokemon rather than 1 energy to 2 Pokemon. Now that could go either way in terms of usefulness. Putting all your energy on 1 Pokemon is risky because it might get Lysandred and KO'd, but generally you want to power up, 1 big Pokemon. Although, like I say, that does make you more vulnerable. There's been many times playing Volcanion when I've wanted to put both the energy on 1 Pokemon. But the fact that it does 30 damage, and especially the fact that it's any energy, makes Rayquaza particularly good. He is a colourless Pokemon, and this attack can be used for a double colourless energy, which means you can use him in any deck whatsoever. Now, generally you'll want to use this for a double colourless energy. This is a setup attack. This is a Pokemon you put out at the start of the game and use to set up your other Pokemon. So that means that you will really want to use a double colourless energy to use this attack on turn 1. Now, special energy is more vulnerable to things like Enhanced Hammer and Promo Jirachi, but that is one of the risks you have to take. And this is the way the game is going. If we look at the cards from Sun and Moon, we've got GXs that, are stage 2 and have up to 250 HP. There seems to be a lot more setup nowadays than there used to be. It's into evolving and piling energy on rather than using big EXs with small energy counts. I'm looking at you, things like Gardevoir EX or Mega Gardevoir and Mega Rayquaza EX. And what this Rayquaza does is it takes cards, Pokemon that would not be viable, and makes it viable. So something like the Arcanine I showed you yesterday, 4 energy for 190 is awesome, but it's a little bit expensive. I told you it was a once a game tech kind of attack. Well, now with Rayquaza, you can be building these cards up very, very quickly indeed. Don't forget we've still got Max Elixir in the format to get energy onto your basic Pokemon, and coming in Sun and Moon we have cards like Lurantis and Vikavolt, both of whom are really good energy acceleration. They are not cards for this video, but I put a link to both those videos in the description, so if you want to check out their energy acceleration, go and have a look. But the thing that really makes Rayquaza shine here is, well, there's 2 things. Firstly, he's a basic Pokemon. Secondly, 1 energy attachment, which means you can get him on the first turn of the game. Maybe you start with him, maybe you use something like a Floatstone to retreat the Pokemon you do start with, but you get Rayquaza into the active at the beginning of the game, you use this attack for 30 damage, and then you get to attach 2 energy from your discard to one of your benched Pokemon. And it really is that good. I cannot overstate how good this card is. This is going to be... Think about a card like Talonflame. Talonflame is very good at the moment because it's got such a good turn 1 attack, but you've got to play 4 of it, and you can only start with it if it's in your opening hand, and it's just too inconsistent. This is pretty much as good as Talonflame in terms of a starting Pokemon. Yes, I know it's attaching energy, not searching your deck, but sometimes this will be better, and you can search for it on turn 1 and then put it in the active. So you can play 1 or 2 of these in your deck, and you can go ahead and use it on the first turn of the game. It's like a more consistent Talonflame. It's like a more adaptable, more splashable Volcanion. And both Talonflame and Volcanion have both seen an awful lot of play. So make no mistake about this, ladies and gentlemen. This card is very, 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 very good. This is a card which is going to see an obscene amount of play. And now, and this is the way Sun and Moon is going, like I've said, what makes me really, really happy is when I'm looking at cards in the future, I'm not just going to be saying, hey, they can attack for a single energy. I'm going to be saying, well, the attack's a little bit expensive, but we've got Rayquaza, we've got Vikavolt, and we've got Lurantis, all of whom can be used to try and get the energy on them faster. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I, for one, am very, very excited about the way the Pokemon trading card game is going with the release of the Sun and Moon set. We are going to slower games with more evolutions and having to attach more energy. Oh yeah, there was a Zygarde card revealed as well. It's not good. I suppose 130 for 4 energy is meh. It's not terrible. But back in Black and White 2 generations ago, Reshiram and Zekrom were doing 130 for free energy, although I suppose they did have downsides, not a straight 130. It's not good. And as one quick little side note, just to finish off Rayquaza, 120 HP for a basic is clearly good, a retreat cost of 1 is quite nice, and the fact that it is weak to lightning is not particularly bad. We don't have many good lightning Pokemon around at the moment, although we never know what's going to come in future sets. But the fact that its resistance to fighting means my old friend Zebstrika is going to come out and say hello. For people like me that are trying to put a 2-2 Zebstrika line in every deck, this is more cannon fodder for Zebstrika, and that makes me happy. Now, there is a comment section. Chuck a comment down. Tell me how excited you are for Rayquaza. Tell me about what you think about the direction the Pokemon trading card game is very clearly going. There are like and subscribe buttons. I would appreciate if you clicked them both, and then went and found a friend to click them both, and then got your friend to find a friend to click them both. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and of course, the most important thing as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.